It's one of those mornings that everything just.
This is like the academics corner over here.
Yeah, that's why we put Spalding over there.
Yeah, you guys.
Get a little uniform, maybe some
Let me
shorts.
turn this guy off.
Yeah. New college flip-flops.
When did you fly down?
I got here about 10 minutes ago.
Michelin? I flew on the flight this morning from DC. What flight was
I
that?
came from Boston. It's warm in here. I was up with family stuff up in Boston.
Gotcha. It's warmer. Are you on the flight home?
Hurry up. Trustee Mickelson, can you please test your mic for us?
Could you not hear us? She's like blankly staring at us. Why did you change it to Sure Digital? It's supposed to be Camlink. Alright. Wait, it's not always Camlink?
Mickelson, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. You may need to speak up a little bit if you're going to talk at any point. You sound a little far away. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for letting me know.
Right, good.
No, you can go ahead and discuss that.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's 2:01, and thank you for being here today at the New College of Florida Board of Trustees annual meeting. Today's Thursday, August 15th, 2024, and it is very hot outside, so I'm sure you're all glad to be indoors here with us. I would ask at this time that you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'd like to have the roll call, please, Ms. Fitzpatrick.
Trustee Anderson?
Here.
Trustee Bauerlein?
Here.
Trustee Karp?
Here.
Trustee Kessler?
Here.
Trustee Mackey? Here. Trustee Mickelson?
Here.
Trustee Patterson?
Here.
Trustee Reed? Here. Trustee Spalding?
Here.
Chair Jinks?
Here.
Vice Chair Cristaldi?
Here.
Quorum is present.
Thank you. Now is the time that we have our call for public comment. We will move into the public comment process of this meeting. But anybody who wishes to comment or wish to comment on items posted on the agenda needed to have provided us with notice at least 48 hours in advance of the meeting. We have a list of 7 people who have registered for public comment. Each commenter will have 1 minute to speak. Ms. Fitzpatrick will call your name. Please come to the podium. Take your minute. There's a counter, I believe, that you can see, and when your minute's up, please yield to the next speaker who will be waiting to comment. With that, Ms. Fitzpatrick, can you call the first person?
The first 3 presenters are Rodrigo Diaz, Kathleen Cody, and John O'Miller.
I have two comments. First, the minutes from the last Board of Trustees meeting state that the business strategic plan was approved unanimously, but they also record yes and no votes for the plan, as well as an abstention. Second, President Corcoran, I ask that today you declare publicly, unambiguously, and categorically that you will not seek any elected office in 2026. Such a declaration would reassure the New College community that you consider only the best interest of the school in your decision-making. It would also be a simple and easy show of good faith as you prepare for the virtual town hall with alumni on August 28th. Thank you.
I'm Kathleen Cody, alum 1964. I'm here today to express my concern that the consent agenda is being misused. I believe that issues that involve millions of taxpayers' dollars deserve a complete discussion, not hidden from view. Though this will be to no avail, I'm officially complaining about the consistent lack of process and procedure of posting agendas on time for the BOT and other NC committees. That makes it difficult to examine the matter in detail, which I'm sure is your aim. It makes one wonder how you are handling foundation funds and other financial accounts if you can't handle basic procedures. Lack of transparency has been the hallmark of this administration and raises questions of intent and competency. Thank you.
John Miller with NCF Freedom. I'd like to echo the previous comments regarding abuse of the consent agenda. When you have items dealing with millions of dollars, to just pass those without discussion makes it appear as though you're not actually considering them. It would be helpful to know about, for instance, the $350,000 in student fees for the intercollegiate athletic program, where they're coming from and how that compares to previous years. You should strike the collective bargaining agreement from your agenda since it was not considered at the committee meeting. And don't panic when you see the logo for FIMS that shows a manatee leaping completely out of the water. I'm told that's a placeholder design and will be replaced with a better design. Thank you.
Next up, we have Judy Burns, then Donald Popovich, and Peter Shellhorn.
Hello, Judy Burns, an alum and an Uplands resident. President Corcoran, thank you for meeting with Uplands residents on July 29th about collaboration and confirming the master plan process will start over again with 3 new meetings. I am commenting on the 2024-25 carry forward spending plans. Specifically, item number 9 under small carry forward projects is the campus master plan for $240,685. The long-delayed master plan and the associated documents should be available for public review. This is required by BOG Regulation 21.2021C. It states, all background data, studies, surveys, analyses, and inventory maps not adopted as part of the campus master plan shall be available for public inspection while the campus master plan is being considered for adoption and while it is in effect. The public has not seen any supporting documents. When will they be made available? We look forward to this collaboration. Thank you.
President Corcoran, thank you for meeting with the Uplands neighbors on July 29th and confirming no future buildings on the Uplands Preserve. I'm commenting on the 2024-25 carry forward spending plans. Specifically, item number 12 under small carry forward projects in campus enhancement for $1.39 million. This includes landscape improvements and minor repairs. Are the practice soccer fields, irrigation, beach volleyball courts included in this amount as landscape improvements? We would like to know. The construction of the practice soccer field in the Uplands Preserve has been completed without having been approved by the Southwest Florida Water Management District. The exemption application was filed on July 9th after all 140 trees were removed, fill brought in, sod laid, and irrigation installed. You're asking for an exemption after you've done the damage. Thank you.
My name is Peter Shellhorn. I'm responding to your recent letter and the face-to-face meeting. No, President Cochran, the destruction of the Uplands Preserve is not in full compliance with the existing master plan, as you claim. No, passive recreation does not include building sports fields, as you claim. Google it. No, this improvement, as you call it, will not help protect us from hurricanes, as you claim. No, the ancient trees did not need to be uprooted to ensure their legacy, as you claim. No, you have not planted a diverse range of native species, as you claim. No, you are not irrigating the field with reclaimed water, as you claim. It comes from a fire hydrant. And no, we are not suckers and losers, willing to accept any misdirection. But yes, we will do everything possible to protect our bayfront.
That concludes our public comments.
Thank you, and it looks like we had 6 commenters, although 7 had signed up, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, great. At this time, we're going to move into the consent agenda. Can I have a motion for?
Madam
oh,
Chair?
yeah.
I would recommend removing the minutes to make that correction. That was
Okay.
Accurate
Fine.
discrepancy that was brought to our attention with regard to the strategic plan and the votes. So it'd be removing the word unanimously.
Okay. Can we pass the approval of the minutes with that change?
Yes, that's.
Move
that-
approval of the minutes with that change, Madam Chair.
Yep, okay, great. So can I have a motion then with that one change to approve the consent agenda? Second?
Second.
Okay.
I would like to strike 2 items from or remove 2 items from the consent
Yeah,
agenda.
what are they, please?
Trustee Reed, we're on, they made, Trustee Cristaldi made a separate motion on the minutes.
By
So-
themselves.
Yeah,
Okay.
by themselves, so then we'll move to the consent agenda.
Sorry if I was out of
Okay.
order there, but my motion was to approve the minutes with the changes noted.
Thank you. Is there a second? Okay. Is there a vote? All in favor of that change, correction? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Any opposed? No? Okay. So the minutes have been approved. Now, I've asked for a motion for the approval of the consent agenda, and Trustee Reed wishes to remove some items. What are they, please?
The approval of the E&G carry-forward spending plan and the approval of the operating budget university summary schedule.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the remaining items on the consent agenda? And we'll
So
move
moved.
those into general business.
So moved.
Okay. And there's
Second.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No? All right. Then we'll move to those items as part of.
Yes, I take up the
Yeah.
E&G carry forward.
All right. Trustee Reed, you sought to remove the, okay. Do we have a motion to approve the university E&G carry forward spending plans fiscal year 24-25? And then we'll have discussion once we have a motion.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Now we can have discussion.
Thank you for allowing me to ask a couple of questions. So my first question, and I'm not sure who is here to answer questions about this.
Either myself or Christie.
Okay, so I just want to confirm that in item H, when it says restricted appropriations, that $5.6 million, that's the faculty recruitment and retention fund. And whether that's in carry forward or not, that is only going to be used for faculty recruitment and retention. And all of those items are going to go through the appropriate faculty planning and budget committee process.
That 5.6 million, oh, sorry. That money, Dr. Reed, as you know, was basically allocated. We submit that allocation to the Board of Governors. It just hasn't been all paid out yet. In fact, one of the retention bonuses was for the fall. And so, yes, it's, the fact that it's carried forward doesn't mean that those earmarks are not going to be spent.
Okay, I just want to make sure that by sweeping it into carry forward, the stricture that it remain dedicated to faculty retention and recruitment holds.
Yeah, and any change would have to go back before the BOG.
Okay, and then,
And I'm saying, the only reason I say that to you, Dr. Reed, isn't because something on our end is they might come back to us and say, we don't like how you did this, we want you to do more of this, et cetera, et cetera. We answer to the BOG. So I'm just saying to you, I think we're fine. But that's a caveat that I would say in any situation is subject to the BOG's approval.
okay.
Are there any other questions that you have on the E and G carry forward?
Yes.
Okay.
So for letter E, or I, pardon me, I'm thinking in French, when you have safety expenses. My question there, and it's line 3, $290,000 for enhancements to campus safety. My question, and this is something I've asked before and haven't actually gotten much of an answer for, how much have these board meetings added to our campus safety or police expenses over the year? Because we normally have a significant police presence here. Sometimes, doesn't appear so today, but sometimes with people hired who are not part of the campus police force. So I'm wondering what the expense is for the board meetings. I think we as a board should know what we're costing the institution.
Yeah, I can get those numbers for you. So as it stands right now, there'd be no additional expense. The additional expense that we incurred in this last fiscal year, for sure, was the graduation, which we had done normally the previous year too, for obvious reasons. This year we also did it because of situations surrounding the October 7th and vocalized, for lack of a better term, vocalized, I don't want to even say threats, but vocalized opposition that may materialize, so we were prepared for that. But I can get you the number. I will tell you this, it's a de minimis amount.
Okay, I mean, I'm concerned specifically about the costs for each board meeting.
Right now, we're down to 5 board meetings for this current fiscal year, which is a 10-year record.
And how much was spent last year on this?
Last year, we had, as you know, a bunch of board meetings, but I'll get that for you. But most of the time, it's the people that were here during those board meetings, and I wasn't here for some of the earlier ones because I wasn't interim president yet, was handled by our own campus police.
Okay. My next question is about the greenhouse cost. So the greenhouse is still not up and running. How much, and is there 1 or 2 greenhouses? I thought there was 1, but the budget says 2.
There's a greenhouse within the greenhouse.
Okay, and how much is that costing overall since it's not up yet? I mean, they were torn down last fall, I believe. When are they going to be up and how much are they actually going to cost?
The 2 generously called greenhouses that were torn down and were inoperational for at least 1.5 years or 2 years, and so were not functional. So those were torn down and removed. And the new one, I would say, I could get the exact number for you. It's on previous documents that we've posted, but I want to say it's right around $1 million. Okay. And a ton of that was the infrastructure to put it all together in terms of, in fact, we just, the dip that was in College Hall, that's not College Drive. As you came down, that big dip that we just fixed, it was caused by the city's pipes not lining up correctly, and so even though we were fixing it, so all that had to be fixed. But a lot of it was just the infrastructure in and of itself. But
okay.
I think the greenhouse, I'd have to go back to the actual greenhouse itself, I think was somewhere around $400,000, but I could check.
Okay. And my last question on this, you can tell me whether now is the best time to answer it. Maybe this is going to come up in your president's report. But I'd like a little more clarification on what's going on with the airport purchase. On this carry forward budget, they talk about transferring $5.8 million from renovations or repairs to the Ham Center classrooms. And you said we talked a little bit about this the other day, but I'd like to know where things stand with the airport, because you're transferring another $5.8 million towards the purchase of the airport property, but I don't believe we have any guarantee at this point that sale is going to be approved.
That's correct. So and that part of the negotiation is really on behalf of the airport, not on behalf of us. They negotiate with the FAA.
Yep.
I have another meeting Saturday at noon to go over the updates on where they are with the negotiations with the FAA. They still feel very optimistic that it will get done. The appropriation of the 5.8 million was really for improvements. It wasn't necessarily anything, it wasn't structural. And as you can see, even without spending that money, we've restuccoed, repainted, fixed up the entire buildings, whether it's every building on campus, including Sudikoff. We just redid the entire outside. We're redoing lines on the back. So we've been doing all of the absolute necessary infrastructure improvements, but the 5.8 million, which was really just for improvements, once it's appropriated by the legislature, we have 3 years to spend that money. And so we're anticipating within that 3 years, we're going to have the resolution with the airport. And when we have that resolution, we were asking the legislature, which is in our legislative budget request, an additional, because the number that we have an agreement with right now on paper with the airport authority is $11.5 million. And so when we did that, we would use that 5.8. That's what the request to reappropriate for that purpose and add the additional money to purchase the airport. And we have 3 years.
Are you
so we're
expecting that purchase price is going to go up? Because part of the FAA's critique of the contract was that it was being sold to us for well under market value, which I think we all recognized as a good thing when we saw that contract. But
the airport, that's on their part, Dr. Reed, and the airport's done a wonderful job. If you look at their responses, which are lengthy, I think most financial experts would read those reports and those responses and say that it's a very, very good deal for the airport too.
Okay.
It's a win-win-win.
Okay, then since you brought up repairs to Sudikoff, I'd like to ask about what's going on in Ham Center. There's a lot of improvements going over there, and as I mentioned to you as I came into this room, the Gender and Diversity Center is gone, along with all of the books and materials that students had collected there over 30-some-odd years. So I'm wondering what that space is going to be used for, because it has long been a space for students.
I'll 100% get to that, Dr. Reed, but it's out of order right now because we're doing the carry-forward budget. But I'll talk about some of that and then take questions after my president's report and address all of the upgrades that we're doing throughout the campus, including the Hamilton Center.
Thank you.
So does that...
Those are my questions on the carry-forward.
Oh, so we had a motion, a second already, so can we have a vote, please, on the approval of the university E&G carry-forward spending plans fiscal year 2024-2025? Everybody in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. We're now on to
Operating budget.
operating budget. Trustee Reed?
Yep.
Well, we need a motion in a second.
Need a motion.
Technically, Madam Chair, it comes as a recommendation from the committee, so I think I defer to Mr. Galvano, but I think we might only need a second.
You're correct.
Okay, so we just need a second?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
Second. Trustee Carr. Thank you. Okay, discussion?
I have a couple of questions, but I'm trying to find there's the pages. So part of my questions have to do with the lines that say transfer in and transfer out. And I'm not entirely sure what that means as a category. So specifically, let's carry forward. Here we go. So if we look on, the page that has the red line at the top of it, when this prints, it doesn't have any pages on it. It says that there are transfers out of 3.8 million from auxiliaries and transfers out of 351,000 from intercollegiate athletics. And I'd like to understand a little bit better what that means. On the previous page, we have transfers in to intercollegiate athletics for the same amount, 351. So it's in transfers in one page and transfers out in the other. And then I have questions about the student activities fees and and how that's being used generally and also for intercollegiate athletics.
The reason for the transfers, Christy, if you could address that, and then I can address the rest.
Okay, so the transfers in and out that you're referencing, and it's line for anybody who's trying to follow along, 22 is the transfers in, and 49 is the transfers out. Specifically, you had referenced the transfers in actually for the auxiliaries, 648,227. Is that what you were, okay. So those are just as far as, it's mainly of movement within the fund. So within the funds that are in the auxiliaries, so we have, for example, 50 different auxiliaries. So you may have some that transfer in and out. So for example, I'll give an example with Olivia. We have the A&S fees that come in, so we collect the fees. They all go into one bucket, and then they're split between 3 different areas. So some of it goes to Ham Center, some of it goes to student government, some of it goes towards the business office for support of student government. So that there's a transfer. It's more of a transactional that happens on the back end. Same thing for the intercollegiate athletics. We have multiple, there's one fund where it's received into, and then it's transferred out into multiple auxiliaries that are associated with athletics.
So where does the money come in from for athletics? Because at some meetings, we've been told that the foundation covers all the athletic expenses. So is this a transfer in from the foundation, or is this coming from another source?
No, every university, so first I would just want to start with the overarching statement, Dr. Reed, is in every category at New College in the last year, when it comes to students, when it comes to anything, we have spent more money, not less, in every capacity. So I just want you to understand that. So every university has an athletic fee, they'll have a health fee. Ours are I believe our athletic fee is the lowest in the state university system. That money comes in, and we have used that money because you can use auxiliaries for sports. So we have used that money for sports, but we can use E&G money for student activities. So all of those numbers have increased for the students, both on the health side and on the athletic side, but we are taking the athletic money, which we're allowed to do under statute, and using it for sports, which has always been the case.
Okay.
And if you have heard otherwise, I apologize, but that's never should have been stated.
No, so my question then, if the athletic fee is coming from student fees, and that's $350,000, how does that get broken down? Because I think students are charged a bit under $9, 8.71 per credit hour. And so even if we have 850 students, which I've been told is what we're hoping to have on campus this fall, that would come out to, assuming 16 credits in the fall, 20 in the spring for ISP in spring, that would come out to a bit under $270,000, not $350,000. So can you explain where the $350,000 comes from?
I believe that's the total of revenues from the athletic fees.
It's the athletic fee and the health fee.
The athletic fee and the health fee. So money that normally, like the student fees would have gone to pay for the CWC, now that money's going to athletics, but you're using E&G money to cover the CWC.
And using more. It's a greater number than the 371.
But it still amounts to all of the student fees and then some going to athletics, and it's only because we've gotten this extra money from the state at the moment that we're able to do that?
Yes.
So that's not something that's sustainable as a budgetary practice, correct? It's something that works now, but maybe not next year?
No, I think it'll work in perpetuity. I think our success in the last 2 sessions legislatively point to the fact that as when we get it to on the agenda item, the fact that we've never had 5% pay increases in the history of New College. Now we've had back-to-back 5% pay increases. Those are the kinds of things that I think will happen moving forward, and they are sustainable.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have a vote on the approval of operating budget university summary schedule, July 2024, June 2025. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? No? Okay. Thank you. Mr. President, it's time for your report.
All right, I'll try not to go on too long, but obviously we're starting a new semester, and as Dr. Reed alluded, we're about at 850 students, which is fantastic for the entire school and way above the growth pattern that the state has asked us to do. We're up about 30 points in the SAT. We are the same in the ACT and .06 down on GPA. But I think that in talking to other presidents, as you have this massive shift and change, and you have this massive addition of sports, you're going to see that to already be up 30 points in the SAT is putting us in a good stead. And as you know from the business plan, the updated business plan that we've submitted, we're now targeting through Dr. Rancourt the top 6% of students across the state of Florida, of which if we can just hold a modicum of those students, we'll start getting to that threshold of 200 to 250 students, first time in college preferably, that have those kind of scores, which will also help us with our metrics. And so that's the target for this coming year, and I think we're on a good stead, just not only in our enrollment, but also in elevating our SAT scores. I'll try to walk through my head the campus, but you guys, I'd like to take you on a tour. I know a lot of you guys just landed 5 seconds ago. But starting over on this side, we've stuccoed and painted. We finished the Z dorm. That was the one that we didn't get to on the outside completely before the students came, but we've completely done the Z dorm. The bridges, as you know, has been completely done. The lettering for the bridge is in the process, so everyone driving on 41 will know where New College is beyond a shadow of a doubt, and that is also backlit at night. You can see the greenhouses finishing completion here in the next couple weeks. Pritzker is well underway. As you drive down College Hall, it's got a beautiful balcony, structurally strengthened. It's repainted, restuccoed, doors, windows going out onto the balcony. It'll be a beautiful additional spot for not only educating students, but also for having events for the marine biology program. The volleyball courts down right behind it will be done probably in the next 3 weeks. The field is pretty much done. We're just trying to get the grass to fully grow, and we'll have all that fencing taken down. But the whole waterfront is tremendously transformed. As you go up the road on the other side, which we just built through, as you know, the demolition has begun. We've demolished the first Palmer building, Palmer E, and now it's just all dirt, anticipating the future growth of the new dormitories that will hopefully get underway here at the beginning of the year. And then the 2 houses at the end of 58th Street have been demolished. If you drive down 41, where we now have full owner, we always did, but we were leasing it out to the car museum. They've been gone now for a few months. The demolition will start on that, and that, pending the master plan approval process, would be the new baseball field. And most of that that land is land we own already, that the airport already sold us to and was approved by the FAA, even though the FAA said they couldn't sell land to the university, and which was well addressed by the airport in showing out that they just really are factually incorrect in terms of the deal we have with the airport. We're going through, redid, stuccoed, and painted the 2 hams. The ham center, obviously, with all the growth and with the hiring, we are at a space crunch, so we've been working with the student. And anytime, like we have the brand new bookstore, that was like student space for the most part. We've taken and given them almost twice the space inside the back of the library, plus we have doors that go back out into a courtyard and it has an elevated steps. We're putting in grass and have cleaned it all up, so not only do they have a bigger indoor space, they have a bigger outdoor space. There's 2 offices in the ham center that we are using for employees, but again, upholstering, refurnituring, not only all of the Z dorms, giving more student space for students to hang out and spend time together, but also giving them more space in other areas. The ham center is with our new vendor that you guys approved for the food vendor. It's been completely repainted. We've contracted, Dr. Reed, I think you'd appreciate this part, with 2 of our former students, one for sure, and we're working on the other one. But Annie Dong was one of the girls, or students, who did a fantastic paintings, but when we had to redo the entire Caples complex, and it got painted over, we're contracting with Annie now, and she's gonna do a mural that's in the ham center in the lunchroom. So we've got 2 walls available for the students to do murals for us, and that's in the process, and we'll keep you posted on when that gets done. But the bell tower has been completely restored, so if you go by now, you'll hear the bell tower go off. On every level, the physical plan of the campus is, as you guys can tell, has been drastically improved. The housing overview, We have, again, all of the contracts are done. We have the USF rooms, we have the Home 2 Suites rooms, we have the portables, which are right behind us, and then we have our current footprint, including the B dorm that we we cleaned out the entire inside, painted and stuccoed that, landscaped the whole B dorm complex. So we'll have, now the one hiccup is that the portable dorms will not be ready until Saturday a week. And so what we have done is immediately secured rooms for 1 week for the 100-plus students that were going to be in the portables, and that cost is being borne by the contractor because he missed his deadline. So there'll be no cost to the university. And then we have about another 150 to 160 students that will be off campus, which is in line with the last probably 10 years of off-campus housing. The campus master plan, I had a great meeting. You heard from some of the residents. The Vice President of Legal Affairs and myself went over and met with them, and we're going to restart the master plan process because there are so many significant alterations. So we're going to come back with the newest from all of the input that we got from the 3 previous meetings. It'll run, it shouldn't delay us at all. The process will still have us, I think, somewhere in around the beginning of the year having the master plan approval process done. It doesn't slow down the dorms because the dorms are in the same place as the original master plan, so we can still move forward with those, which is the greatest crisis that we have right now. In other words, we're under a master plan right now, so under that master plan we can construct immediately, and so as long as it's in compliant with that master plan. So, and that would be housing in the same venue as it is on the existing master plan, is also anticipated under the new master plan, which would be along that College Drive on the north end, Dort Walkway on the north end. But that'll start, we'll have that hopefully out, the newest version, and I want to say it publicly, but as the residents and our communication, the new plan does have no physical construction other than the field and in the Uplands waterfront. And so hopefully we'll have that out pretty quickly, and then we'll immediately start the informational hearing and the 2 public hearings and have approval for you guys hopefully by the end of the year or the beginning of next year at the latest. But it won't slow us down on the dormitories. I don't know if it's on the screen or we can have it on the screen, but as you know, New College, prior to any of us being here, lost its license plate. You have to sell so many license plates at a given point in time. Statutorily, it was taken away from us. We tried the very first session, and now we tried the second session. And at the second session, we were successful in getting the license plate reinstated. So we're going through that whole process. You can see these are other state university system license plates, and all of them have obviously done very well. So we are, and part of our issue is more than anything size. So we went back and redesigned the license plate in hopes that it'll be very successful. And so these are the current SUS systems, and the license plate that we'll submit this week is the Mighty Banyans with New College of Florida. So that'll be submitted. We also have, and I think for context purposes, I mean, obviously we have to do something new because the last one did, and I think it was more size and everything than anything. But as you guys know, we have, the new N kind of motto. We have the Mighty Banyan logo, and we have the Four Winds logo. And so if you see, we use all 3 interchangeably. As we put all the new signs you see on campus, we have the Four Winds logo on the top. We haven't touched the ACE building. One, it's a beautiful building. It's in excellent condition, and we're trying to prioritize those that need it the quickest. But the ACE building has Four Winds built into the construction itself. It's very beautiful. It's a sort of a rust patina with the Four Winds throughout. So we use, just like Stanford has the Cardinals, and they're also the tree, and just like Auburn has the eagle, but they're also the Tigers. We kind of feel like we have the Mighty Banyan and motto. We have the N. We have the Mighty Banyan. We have the Four Winds. And we'll use all of them with regularity. So I just want to say that in terms of the plate obviously changing. The other thing is, as you know, we have our mascot is here, and we had a contest to. We had a contest to name him, and The selection has been Rudy, R-O-O-T-Y. So he's Rudy the Mighty Banyan, was the... And Rudy comes to all of our events, even when we're recruiting students or when we're having the orientation or we're doing the Welcome Wednesdays to our students in order to kind of mitigate our melt and success. They all take a picture with Rudy out by the water, and it's a very, I send them out in a lot of the presidential updates, so you've probably seen them. Our Socratic stage, last year it was our embryonic year, and we had a fantastic year. We closed out with a full-day symposium with academics from around the world that I know all of you guys are really fully aware of, and their reputations. It was a fantastic event. We're lining up the Socratic stage for this coming year, and it's even more robust. Again, we have donors who are stepping forward or helping us with, when there has to be an honorarium or a housing or travel cost, they're stepping up and helping us with the cost. And we'll unveil the entire lineup for the fall and then the spring. But it's a very robust group. One of our trustees, Mark Bauerlein, he was a moderator at one of our Socratic stages last year with, as you recall, with one of our professors, and it was one of the probably most talked about presentations with Dr. Stanley Fish. So Mark has agreed graciously to, when we need a moderator for the specific events, Mark will be the moderator /interviewer for all of the ones that are coming up and lined up. So we'll get that list out to you, but it's a great list. I also included in your packet the presidential evaluations for the vice presidents. Anybody that exceeds 200, you have to do an evaluation of the work that they have done during the year. Obviously, in the last 15 months, really, since I've been here, the work that's been done is nothing shy of miraculous by all of these individuals. In fact, one of them couldn't be here today. He's actually up in Connecticut, texted me at about 10:30 in the morning with a successful meeting with a donor of a significant contribution. So all these guys are all over the country, all over the state, doing amazing work, and so that's the requirement that I give that to you guys, but I think you can see it. Also, we have new faculty orientation coming, as you know, and you can see, I sent it out, the list of the faculty that we have achieved. One of the new college alums, who's an attorney in town, sent me that he would like to write an op-ed on the faculty, because he was going through how many were from Oxford, how many were from Harvard. It's a who's who of faculty that we've been able to add to our existing faculty, and obviously a hat tip and a thanks to our existing faculty for helping us achieve that wonderful list. They've been fantastic, and I think we have a healthy give and take between the shared governance on faculty hiring. I feel like I'm missing something, Christy, that I...
No, I think that's pretty, the bookstore, we opened the bookstore.
Oh, yeah, we did open the bookstore. You can go through, we'll get, we're still getting books, we're still getting apparel, but it's been open, technically for about 7 days. But if you go through, and it's really nice to have our own bookstore on campus. I think it's great for the students.
Where is it?
It's right there between ACE and the library. At the end of the ACE building, and there's a sign right near the bell tower, right over as you come over the bridge. And then the final comments, and I don't say this because I know, and there's no question that I will get severely and very graciously grilled by Amy, so I'm not trying to dissuade Dr. Reed from grilling me, but I do want to say, as you guys all know, that this is Dr. Reed's last meeting. Obviously, this time, Dr. Reed having been a professor here for decades, it's been, generously said to be extremely tumultuous and extremely difficult, I think, for everybody, especially the historic New College community. Dr. Reed, I think, has come to our board meetings. I've met just dozens and dozens of times with her. There's just no question, I think, anybody in this entire community would argue that Dr. Reed is passionately supportive of New College. Her heart is with New College, but she's been offered a grant and a leave for a great opportunity, so this will be her last board meeting. But I do want to say, despite moments of contention and I'm sure frustration on your part. Dr. Reed, it's been an honor to have you on the board.
Thank you.
Does that conclude your report?
That concludes my remarks.
I have a lot of questions, but if other people have questions first, I'm happy to let someone else speak. Olivia?
Yeah, I have a question. I'm aware of concerns of the past management of funds within the foundation and that there's potential for an investigation to be conducted. Could you give an update to the board about this issue, the background, and if there is an investigation, the timeline on what we should expect?
I'm going to defer to legal counsel on that. It's an open and right now it's being audited currently, so I can defer to legal counsel or the chair of the audit committee. But during that time period, we're not allowed to talk about it. But
Yet there has been a request for an internal audit, and Trustee Carp, you made the request. It is a public record, and if you'd like to highlight it, but we can't comment about the ongoing investigation as it's still ongoing.
I'll just say that as a member of the foundation board and also chair of the audit committee for the university, the foundation board was looking into ways to audit the finances from previous administrations and previous years of the foundation. And with my understanding of just the confusion at this point, using our in-house counsel, which is Alex Tazumas, who is our chief audit and compliance officer, having somebody here on campus who can basically immediately start looking into this and getting us answers would be a lot more expedient than starting to look into other firms and how are we going to find them and hire them and how much are we going to pay them. We have somebody right here, so the investigation starts immediately.
Thank you.
So I am glad to know that an investigation has been called for, because we have heard on campus from the administration primarily that there are real concerns about large shortfalls in the foundation's endowment. But I was also concerned that there was no meeting of our audit committee before this BOT. And I'm wondering if the concern was about acting quickly, why people on the audit committee weren't informed that this was going on, and why wasn't there a meeting of the audit committee? It's come up repeatedly over the past year that new college trustee committees meet far less often than at any of the other boards of trustees in the other SUS institutions. And to me, I reached out last week to find out if there was going to be a meeting. And when I heard that this request had gone in, I was very concerned. And I would like to just, if there's an explanation as for why there was no meeting of the audit committee, I'd appreciate knowing that. And if it's just this is the way we roll, I'd like to ask very seriously that the Board of Trustees consider it's our responsibility here, everyone at this table, to be involved in this. And I would like to ask that we all step up and insist that there are regular meetings of our committees. And granted, I'm not going to be here for the next one. So maybe I'm putting more work on your shoulders, but I think it's the responsibility that we've all taken on to be here.
Madam Chair, if I could, I'd just like to ask a question or two that would help me understand Trustee Reed's question. First, is the foundation under the purview of the audit committee of the New College Board of Trustees board? And this is, I guess, more of a question for Mr. Galvano. It is. And two words have been used during the discussion. One is investigation, the other is audit. And from a legal sense, those are two very different things. Mr. Galvano, if you know, could you clarify which or both of those we're talking about?
We're talking about an audit to understand certain expenditures.
And the result of that audit would then go to the audit committee?
Correct.
The entire audit committee?
I misspoke as far as that
That's okay.
isn't totally up on the legal terminology.
That's okay. There's no criticism being levied. I just want to make sure I understand. So the chair of the audit committee requested an audit that would come back to the audit committee for review of the foundation.
Yes, and a memo was sent out to the chair of the foundation as well as the entire foundation board and university officials.
Understood. Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you.
And just, if I could add to it, Trustee Cristaldi, is, the foundation brought to my attention that there was concerns, and I immediately talked to council because the concerns concerned me, and it was decided that the best course of action was to immediately notify our auditor, and the audit chair and the audit chair and the auditor thought we should move immediately and swiftly, Dr. Reed. Ultimately, whatever is, we'll go back to the audit committee for that discussion. And then as far as committees, we've started to use committees, like this whole agenda went through committee, for the most part. And the reason I say for the most part is because we didn't have, we had it on the agenda for the union contracts, but not all the union contracts were done, which is a normal practice and a parliamentary procedure to put things on the agenda in the anticipation that they could be completed. But if you look at probably our last, I would say, several meetings of the Board of Trustees, that's why there's so many things on the consent agenda, because the work in a committee is supposed to be where the heavy work is done, and then it comes to the full committee, and if one of the full committee's members has questions, then they could certainly pull it from the consent. But the concept is, if it was worked on and debated and discussed and analyzed at the subcommittee level, then you automatically put it on the consent agenda in terms of how procedure works. But even with that committee process happening, as you know, which is totally in the purview of every trustee, more than 50% of all of those consent agendas gets pulled off and become action items, even though they went through the committee process. So we have escalated and used the committee pretty much before anything that comes before this board in the last several meetings.
I'd also say that the audit committee has met when Mr. Zumas has recommendations for us or has completed his audits. We have had pretty routine meetings, and
we met in June.
Right, and with this, it was one of those things where we don't know what the outcome's going to be, and just let him do his audit, and then by all means, 100%, we will have a meeting, and the information he finds will be presented to us.
So at the last audit committee meeting, one of the things we went over was basically how Mr. Zumas allocates his time, right? And the one thing that really stood out to me is that he has more tasks to complete in a year than hours in a year. And so while I understand that he is here and, well, not here today, there he is. While he is on campus and here in the meeting, so he can get started quickly on things, he's also a one-person office and overburdened. So in that sense, I'm concerned about whether or not having it done internally is the best way to get a quick and efficient and accurate response. So if...
It's absolutely the best and quickest way to do it.
Okay.
Alex
I hope
balances
he gets some help in his office.
and that's part of the reason we immediately notified him, and we even took his advice in terms of who's the best to do it, how's the quickest to get the evaluation necessary. And Alex thought absolutely the best way to do it was for him to do it. It would be obviously no cost and expeditious.
I feel like at the end of the day, we're all looking for the same answer, and we're going to get it.
There are a lot of concerns amongst faculty about cuts to the amount of funding coming to important programs for faculty and students because the foundation does not have the money that they normally did. There's going to be a big cut to the amount of funds available for the student travel and research grants. About 30% of the money that they thought was going to be available will not be available this coming year. And that's a big hit, especially when we have more students, right? Faculty do not have, the divisions do not have confidence that they're going to have sufficient funds to run the searches that are necessary. And yes, we keep getting assurances that budgets will be forthcoming, but there have been significant delays because the foundation's books are not in order. And that has real impacts on each and every faculty member, which means on all of our students. So I hope that everyone on the board takes this very seriously. What happens at the foundation really matters for what happens on the ground here.
We should do an audit. Just so to be clear, Dr. Reed, and I'll be glad to sit down with you or anybody and we could go through it. Everybody's budget has increased. It's just not, to your point, what they have felt at times is, can I just take this money because I'm going to do another faculty search? Well, the faculty budget that existed prior to us getting here might have been $8,000, and they're already at $12,000. Not only did we cover the 10 or 12,000 or whatever they were over their budget, we even gave them additional money for those faculty searches because it was so important. But yes, they got pushback because they were well in excess of the budget that was given to them from the prior administrations. And now we're going through every single one of those books, and we're finding that, yes, I'm going to make up, Professor, Jones was getting money from this one fund. There's no money in the fund, we're finding out. So yes, it's taken us, as you can tell, including now with another audit that's undergoing, to figure out what is nothing shy of an abject disaster of management at the foundation. Not only in how the funds were used, not only where they spent money from those funds, not only the abject dismal fundraising that they complied with, not only their overly bloated budget that we've cut back by $1 million a year, which is another reason we have so much money to give out to other people, is because we're saving $1 million just in overhead. And not only in the absolute disaster of investments that have taken place. All of that has us telling at different points in times, faculty members, whatever, no, we can't give you that money because there's nothing in that fund. We will take care of you and we will find you the money. I just had a professor call about wanting to re-up the software that he uses. Done. But the fund that he was getting it from isn't in existence. We've met with all the division chairs and increased every single one of their budgets and the budget that you guys have approved. I don't care if it's students, I don't care if it's faculty, I don't care if it's infrastructure, I don't care if it's textbooks, I don't care if it's online programs. Every single thing, and pay raises, you name it, has been drastically increased under this new board.
Can I ask a question? So, President Corcoran, from what you just said, it sounds like the problems with the foundation that Trustee Karp recently discovered took place prior to your arrival at New College.
100%.
Okay, so I just want to make that clarification for myself, but also for anyone watching this, because, I mean, it sounds as if, there's an investigation or an audit because of something that went wrong under your watch. Instead, you actually discovered something that went wrong previously.
And this is through the process of 2 different accounting firms, 2 different CPAs that we've brought in to look at the books, and the person that we just got, and we recruited her from, having done an excellent job from Ringling College, came in and she said, identified these additional issues that we're now having to investigate from the prior administration.
Thank you.
And there's a question as well. Just to clarify, the foundation reports to this board? Ultimately?
The foundation is a wholly owned subsidiary and only exists as an extension for you guys as a direct support organization.
So if an audit or whatever this is finds things that we believe are nefarious, we could take action?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
Any further questions on the president's report?
I have a lot of questions. I'm
okay.
done with that thing. I mean, I think
Okay,
that this is very serious, but I have questions about other parts of the president's report.
How long do you think you'll be?
I'll try and go as quickly as I can. So I have about 6 things going on. I just want, 2 things are very quick. I want to confirm, if I understood you correctly, you said that the master plan is restarting, right? So that 180 days that we talked about at different times in the spring, the clock will be restarting and there will be a new process that the community will be involved in, correct? And second, that that process is not going to delay the new construction that you want to begin on because you're using the existing footprint for buildings that have been torn down already? And so that doesn't violate the...
No, it's anything that's new still has to go through the amendment that we're trying to do to the existing master plan. But we have an existing master plan, and you can do anything you want under the existing master plan. So, and that would include building dorms on the north end of the Dort Walkway.
Okay, so that's not,
It's, Madam Chair,
Yeah.
it's consistent with the
Good.
existing master plan,
Okay.
and we took a hard look at that to make sure it was not requiring a new master plan, and decided that it does not at all.
okay.
And at no point in the previous hearings, Dr. Reed, has that ever been an issue? I'm saying what we're talking about, all of the controversy regarding the master plan is related to the waterfront or, what might take place over here. I've heard zero complaints about because it's in the existing master plan, so it's already been approved.
Well, I think that there's big questions because it's not clear to people where big buildings that you're planning to put in are going to go. So I think I have heard a number of questions about this. But
Just so you know, that's not unclear because it's in the existing master plan.
okay. Then I want to ask about the portable dorms. So you said that they didn't fare so well in the last storm. There were problems with drainage.
No, had nothing to do with the storm whatsoever.
Okay.
We had a transformer that we had ordered because if there was a storm-related thing, it was that Debbie took a lot of resources and a lot of other transformers, you name it, to other places of the state. And so FP&L will have that transformer to us next week, but it'll delay the full operation of the dorms for about 6 days.
Okay, so there wasn't flood damage to the dorms?
Zero.
They're just, okay.
Zero.
What happened in Sarasota last week is nothing I've ever seen
I
in
agree.
my 30 years here. So then my next question is about the SAT and ACT scores, right? And I just want to clarify, if I'm looking at this packet that you gave us, there's an increase of about 25 points in the SAT scores, the average SAT scores for fall 24 versus fall 23, okay? And that's, a good thing. But I do just want to point out that there was a drop from an average of 1233 the previous year, right? So we're still significantly below where we had been, and that 1233 was not one of our better numbers in past years.
You had flatlined the college had flatlined for about 5 years, so 1233 was in the ballpark for about 5 years. And then,
Not one of our best, but.
Madam Chair, if I'm sorry to interrupt, although these questions are very important, I would encourage Trustee Reed to set up some time to speak with the president. We do have a lot of things on our agenda, and these are not action items, and we are taking up quite a bit of the meeting here.
So I'll just say that I think actually these are the things that we need to be discussing. And these are things that I had asked I had sent a request for this information. And so I believe it's really important. If you want me to stop, that's your prerogative to ask that. But I think this is what this board needs to be doing.
Can you get to your last questions, please? We do have other business to go, and
So,
President Corcoran is available to speak to you anytime about
so my
these
question, okay.
issues.
Then that has not necessarily been the case. Answers have not been forthcoming.
Okay.
When faculty have asked for this information, we have not gotten it. We have been asking in the administrative council, we've been asking the provost, and this information has not been forthcoming to faculty, period. I'll stop.
and Dr. Reed, I think you would echo, there's never been a time that you or any faculty member has asked me for something that I have not delivered it almost instantaneously. Sometimes I say to you, let me check into that for you and see, because you got an email or something. I go, let me track it down for you, and I track it down within 24 hours.
You've been personally very responsive when I have called, but we have not gotten this information in the incoming class.
We understand your position, Trustee Reed. I think Vice
This
Chair
exact document was provided at the last board meeting, too.
Cristaldi's points well taken. Can we move on?
I have one last question about the dorms and financing of dorms. So I spoke with David Brickhouse a few weeks ago about the bonding process and building credit to pay for the new dorm construction. You mentioned starting on the dorm building process very soon. Are we planning on going forward with the bonding process, P3? What's the plan?
No, none of that's been decided. What we did, Trustee Mickelson, is we hired a very respected expert consultant because we have literally been pitched by, as you can imagine, including today, every vendor from across the state. And we have people that are saying we could do a lease to buy option, and here's why it's better. We have people who say you can go the bonding route, and you could, we could raise money in the community, and that's a better option. So we have this consultant that's going through that whole process that we've been working with for several months now, evaluating that type of evaluation, which we'd bring back before you guys and say, here's why we think, here's the options that we had, here's why we think this is the best option, and it would still put us on pace if need be to begin for the dormitories in the spring. But nothing's been decided.
Okay. Yeah, do you have a deadline on when you would bring it forward for us?
Working
to look at?
backwards, we'd like to get started in the spring. So I would say we'll probably have another update at the October meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Madam Chair, if we're moving
Yes,
on,
sir.
I would recommend that item number 7 be taken up after current item number 9. I believe that to be a more appropriate course of action.
That's fine, I agree.
That's the elections.
Yep, we'll do that last, so we'll just move that to the bottom. At this time, we would like to recognize Dr. David Rancourt, please, and Professor Heidi Harley. Is she here? Great. To explain the Florida Institute of Marine Mammal Science proposal.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Trustees, Dr. Harley, welcome. This is a great honor for me, actually, to present, and I know this is a project that's near and dear to many of you, and a subsequent action to your previous support of the Marine Mammal Program, Master's Program that we're beginning this fall. Very excited about it. And this represents truly the very best of New College and our aspirations to be world-class and better at every step. We have an opportunity to bring through this center, and centers by the state university system are designated by a vote of the trustees and then approval finally by the Board of Governors. So this will go next, if you approve it today, we'll go next to the BOG for their approval. There are university level centers and there are state centers. There is not a coordinated effort in the state university system thus far in Florida to coordinate the research of marine mammals. We have in the state of Florida a lot of money and a lot of research going on for marine mammal research, but we have uniquely in Sarasota the world's most studied population of dolphins in the world. And that is a unique asset that we can take advantage of by creating this center through the state university system. It will bring us 3 things that I think are very important to the college: prestige, it will bring us attention and thereby recruiting advantages to attract more students. And it will also, I believe, if done right, and I'm very confident it will be done right, tremendous grant funds. So by creating this center, we put on the map one of our best assets, one of our best academic programs. We bring it a great amount of attention, a great amount of prestige, and with the University of Florida, their veterinary medicine program as our partner, we align with the 800-pound gorilla of the state university system. So I hope this is an opportunity for us to grasp something that will make us better and put us on the map in the greatest way we possibly can. And I know Dr. Harley's and her team who've envisioned this will do a great job with this effort going forward. And I want to thank your support for the past to create the master's program and hope you'll support this program going forward. Dr. Harley's here. If she'd like to say a few words, Madam Chair, if okay with you, and certainly can answer any questions, asking Ms. Fitzpatrick about the budget items on this. So thank you.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure, Doctor. Thank you.
Well, it's hard to top that, so I might just stick with that. But what we're trying to do is just coordinate resources and do a better job for students, for New College, and for the state of Florida, and for the marine mammals that we're trying to protect and support. So
I would open up for a motion, and then if there are questions.
Great. I would seek at this time motion to approve the Florida Institute of Marine Mammal Science proposal.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by
Second.
Trustee Karp, seconded by Trustee Anderson and Trustee Bauerlein. Do we have any discussion?
I have a question. What exactly is the relationship between New College of Florida and the University of Florida as regards this, and what implication might that have for a master's degree here?
The presenter's ready to.
Okay. Thank you.
So what this is a center that brings together, it's meant to bring together universities in part for return of investment for the state of Florida. And so we've begun the partnership with University of Florida because we're very close to them, this aquatic animal health program that they have. But we also, they have strength in the medical part, and we have strength in neuroscience and behavior and these other things. So it pulls us together. So part of what we want to do with the Institute is to create, it's the first one for New College, is to have something where we have more of a role for New College in the SUS. But some of their students, without paying tuition to us, paying it to UF, will do some things with us, and some of our students, without paying a tuition to New College, will do some things at Florida. So we're going to trade off some on, in every way, courses, research, writing grants together. But we're also intend to bring in other folks in the university system with other universities ultimately. But we began with this one because it was a great partnership for us. And we had a lot of friends there too, so.
I don't object to that. I don't disagree. I'm just from an administrative point of view, how does that work? How do the two cooperate in administering a program, and how does it relate to our academic
Got it.
degree?
So the Institute itself does not, the Institute hosts the master's program at New College, so it's our master's program at New College. So it's still just our master's program at New College. It's part of what the Institute does, but it's our program, completely our program, the master's. But we'll have, of course, what we do is have lots of speakers come in from other places and work together on, particularly on things like permits, grant funding, supporting students from different places, and coordinating. So administratively, we administer this center, but then it's really to facilitate partnerships across the university so that we don't replicate resources across the university system. So our master's program is still our master's program. Does that help you?
I think so. I mean, the memorandum of agreement administratively makes it just sound like it's New College.
Well,
the
because
fact that the president of UF signed it, there's really hardly any mention of their role.
right, because it's the partnership. It's really just this partnership where we work together for shared goals. But we are the administrator because the Institute is at New College, and that was our goal, was to have at least one that was part of New College, that was part of the state university system. So our name comes up all the time when the Institute is alluded to, and then we can help. They can also bring in initiatives that they want to engage in. We do that together.
So that the relationship here between New College and the University of Florida is typical of other such centers at other universities where the host is the dominant partner.
Yes, exactly. And the host will go out of our way to bring in other partners.
Any other questions? Seeing, yes, Trustee Kessler.
Just a quick question on the, not the center, but on the master's program as such. This is not the first master's program. I understand we have a master's in data science as well. What can you tell us about, does this master's program innovate? Does it go beyond the master's in data science? What does this tell us about future possible master's programs at New College? Is this a template that could be used in other disciplines? What's the relation between our two masters?
That's a great question, and it's a hard question, actually. But we happened to eat lunch today with the person who's the director of data science. So they're pretty different programs because data science is more professional in the sense that it's built for a really specific kind of job. And they end with an internship. So it's a 2-year program in data science, and then the last semester is an internship, so that second half of the second year. In marine mammal science, there's actually no other master's program like this in the United States, whereas there are quite a few, actually lots of data science programs. This is the marine mammal science one is unique. I think it'll be hard. It's probably hard to come up with a unique program in many areas in the U.S. because we're just rich in academic programs here. So in that way, I think we might not be a prototype. But what we did was use the strengths that we really already had.
If I may, Trustee Kessler, add to that, I think there will be collaboration on how we recruit, how we spend money to recruit, but clearly the relationship with undergraduate programs to attract students to the master's program will be different in the data science versus the marine mammal, but certainly we're going to collaborate on tactics, as are the evaluations of our students. But with Dr. Klingenberg and Dr. Harley, I'm very excited about how the provost's office and the admissions office both are recruiting together and working to build collaborative approaches and efficiencies in the costs of how we recruit. I think we'll be better at it. As far as the determination of futures master's programs, I don't think anybody here wants to lose sight of our primary mission, and that's educating undergraduates. Whether you choose to go forward with additional master's program in targeted areas is up to obviously the board, and we're here to serve whatever direction you decide to take for us. So thank you.
Do we have any other questions? Okay, this will go before the BOG, assuming we approve this today, correct? So it'll still go another level of review by the Florida.
And it actually has a stricter scrutiny. It goes through the staff and the chancellor, then to the BOG.
Okay. So with that, can I have a vote, please, on the motion that was seconded? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Who doesn't love dolphins? Okay. Awesome. Congratulations, guys. Great job. Yep. At this time, we're going to take up what's on the agenda as item 9, and that is the collective bargaining agreement. And I would recognize David Brickhouse, Vice President, Legal Affairs and Human Resources, to come to the podium and tell us what you're asking of us.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I'll be brief. Before you, we bring for your consideration the ratification of the collective bargaining agreement between New College of Florida and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, or ASME. And I'm happy to stand for any questions. The changes are fairly few, but most importantly, as the President alluded to earlier, this represents a historic pay raise for our ASME employees. This is, I confirmed with my staff, their second highest pay raise ever. So it's back-to-back 5% increases is what's being recommended.
Okay. So at this point, I'll ask for a motion to approve the ratification of the updated collective bargaining agreement between New College of Florida and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. Can someone?
So moved.
So moved. That was by
Second.
Trustee Kessler and seconded by Trustee Bauerlein. Okay, any questions? Seeing none, let's, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No? Okay. Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I'd move back to item number 7 and open the, no, it was 7 on mine.
Yeah, it is 7. So we moved just to the end, we're at the annual meeting, we moved we're going to take up now the election of the chair and vice chair of the New College Board of Trustees. So,
Open for nominations.
open for nominations.
I'll make a nomination. Is that how you do it? Or?
I guess.
Yes, it is.
Everybody's looking.
Thank you, Trustee Carp.
We'll move this along.
Okay.
Based on the prior leadership and dedication of our current chair, I'd like to nominate Deb Jenks to be our chair going forward for the next term.
I
Second.
think I need to turn this over to you then. You're the vice chair. Can we?
You don't have to, but it's traditional
I will
since
not.
you've been nominated.
I'll recognize the motion. I will not second it myself since I'm stepping in as chair. Trustee Spalding has seconded the motion. Is there any discussion?
Does she get to give a speech?
Do I have to?
Only after the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. I'm flattered. It's a little like that thing where you're all standing and they say step forward and everybody kind of. No, thank you very much. I appreciate your vote of confidence. It's been an honor and pleasure to be here doing this work with all of you. And of course, our fabulous president and our fabulous outside general counsel. Now we need a motion a nomination for the vice chair. Trustee Carp. You're getting good at this.
Thank you. Keeping that same spirit in mind, I think that our current vice chair has been doing a wonderful job, not just these past 2 years, but past couple years. So I would nominate Trustee Cristaldi as our vice chair.
I'll second it. Oh, okay. Any discussion? You feel like getting up and running, or okay? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you all for the continued confidence. Appreciate it.
Appreciate all your work. Thank you, everybody. That concludes our agenda. I understand that Trustee Reed would like a minute or two, or?
Yep, if I could.
Yes, we recognize you as having the
Thank you.
floor.
So the president already told you my news. So today is my last meeting as a member of this Board of Trustees, and I appreciate the opportunity to take a moment to offer some words of thanks. Serving on this board has been both an honor and a challenge. A challenge because it takes multiple hours to review the documentation for each of our meetings and many questions to try and understand the implications of each of the documents and decisions before us. So I'll say thank you to my fellow trustees for their investment in New College, to serving our students in our community, to upholding the academic traditions of the college, and to listening to my questions. I'm especially grateful to the trustees who have represented our students on this board, specifically Grace Keenan, who graduated last May, and now Trustee Olivia Mickelson, who is zooming in from a summer internship far away. Thank you for being here. You do us all proud with your service. I want to thank, too, the representatives of the college administration who take time to answer my questions. Our visions of the past, present, and future of New College do not always align. It is, after all, just 1 year since this board voted to abolish the gender studies program that I had worked to build with colleagues and students over the years, but I appreciate the work everyone does on this campus. Serving this board has really been a distinct honor because I've had the opportunity to represent the voices and interests of the New College community here, our faculty, students, and staff, and to listen to the dedicated community members and Novo parents who take time to attend and speak up at these meetings about issues that matter and very deeply to me. Having taught at New College for 29 years now, I am especially grateful to my colleagues for all that they do day in and day out to make New College a respected learning community. I have great respect for my fellow faculty. I have learned much from and with them over the years, and I am truly honored that they elected me to represent them here this past year. For our students, they are what initially brought me to New College, and they're what made this my ideal job. They're smart, independent-minded, and out to change the world. They've been a continual source of inspiration to me from 1995, and especially in these past 2 years. I want to thank them for challenging me to always do better as a teacher, as a researcher, and as a representative of our campus on this board. For the larger Novo community, and this is important to speak to them because as a public university, New College has a special responsibility to our state and to our neighborhood to enhance the cultural and intellectual life of the community. So what I want to thank the community members who are here today is for doing us one better. In the past 2 years, members of this community have continually stepped up to support New College, our students, and those of us who work here. Thank you, one and all. Honor and respect.
And best of luck to you in your new venture. I'm sure it'll be great. If there's no other business, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, second?
Second.
All right, we're done. Thank you, everyone. Yay.
Gonna go vote on it?